What's up, y'all? Thank you for dropping by the channel. It's Monica at Out the Mud Farm, here to tell you how the farmer's market really helped me find my first cash crop. I first named my farm Music City Fungi because I thought I was going to be selling oyster mushrooms. I thought it would be super cool to sell oyster mushrooms, have the buckets, have them growing out of buckets. I thought the optics of that would have been really cool. Plus, I knew oyster mushrooms was something that people wanted. So last fall, I started growing them out of buckets. I didn't know what I was doing. I put too many holes in the buckets thinking that was going to give me more mushrooms. That's not how it worked. And so I learned some very important lessons about humidity and fresh air exchange. And this spring got some new buckets, didn't put as many holes in those buckets, got bigger flushes, but still not ready for, commercial, still not ready for a commercial operation. Okay. So here I am, it's spring, I don't have anything really going on as far as enough to sell for the farmer's market, and I'm kind of getting close to crunch time. So even though those oyster mushrooms I grew weren't sellable, they were definitely edible, and I definitely ate them. Meanwhile, I was in my garden using this rabbit poop fertilizer to grow my flowers and our vegetables for my family, and it was making me look like, I knew what I was doing. Like, The rabbit poop fertilizer, the plants just loved it. They just went crazy. And I said to myself, you know what? Why not just bag this stuff up and sell it? At one point, we were eating lettuce like it was our job. There was so much lettuce. And I said, you know what? Maybe I should look at the rabbit poop fertilizer as my cash crop instead of the oyster mushrooms. And that didn't mean that I wasn't going to be able to sell oyster mushrooms. It just meant that based on my resources at hand and the time situation I had with the farmer's market being upon me, it just made sense that the rabbit poop took first spot, and I could revisit the oyster mushrooms, which had about a 6 to 8 week grow cycle. With the rabbit poop fertilizer, Out the Mud Farm was birthed, and I was able to hit the farmer's market, right away with a product that, I could sell. So, and that was useful. So we found Miss Pat, and she has a rabbitry, and we found her because I was researching yet another crop, like I talked about in the video before. If you haven't watched it, when I talked about how you need to do your research, these are the things that happen when you start doing your research. You find stuff like this. So I found Miss Pat. She has plenty of rabbit poop. She just wants us to come and get it. This is me trying to use a paint mixer to process it. We bring it back to the farm here and we process it. Clearly that paint mixer didn't work out as well as I would have hoped, but we ended up figuring things out. Ultimately we got everything figured out and got our inventory levels up to where they needed to be. Had to fight through some humidity and mold issues within the bag. So we have to constantly be on the lookout for that. But, all of this is happening because, that farmer's market commitment, I paid the money. I said, I'm going to sell at the farmer's market, and I had to have something. And my vegetable garden was only giving us enough food for us, and it wasn't really giving us enough food for us even. So, fortunately, the rabbit poop fertilizer, my mind started to think outside the box, which you have to do. And the rabbit poop fertilizer just made itself clear as the number one cash crop for me. That doesn't mean that, the mushrooms won't be 2, or maybe they'll be 3. Maybe something else will sneak in at number 2. But it is what it is. You just have to be ready and able to pivot and to be able to recognize when you need to do that. So, but the farmer's market's been great to us. We really love all of the friends we made at the Rutherford County's farmer's market. I encourage you to sign up for your farmer's market next year, even if you're not, quote unquote ready in your mind. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you have any questions. Thanks so much for checking out the video, and I will make sure I get another one up sooner than the last time. Okay, talk to you later. Peace.